All right, welcome to the instructional video. This is a two-part video. This video will show you guys how to attach your attachment, and I'm just going to use this piece as my attachment. Whatever you have coming off this piece is your thing. But how to attach an attachment to the servo motor, and then how to attach your servo motor to a bracket that can fit onto your robot, as well as making them move. And it's pretty simple to make them move, so that shouldn't take too long, and that'll all be at the end of the video. So what you will see is, first of all, attaching our attachments to our servo motor. To do that, in order to get everything onto a servo motor, we need what's called a servo horn, which is located on the wall. All you have to do is find one of the boxes that says servo horn. It's very thin. And this piece will connect to whatever part is the ending of your attachment where you want the pivot point. So wherever you want it to actually move is where you would put this piece. Now, you don't really need that many screws, but in today's demonstration, I'm only going to put two, which will probably need two small socket head cap screws and some cap nuts to just get them on there. But I would probably do three just so that you're secure, but for this demonstration, we're only going to do two. I'm going to be manually tightening these things first. And then once they're on there manually, then I will take my hex head screwdriver and I'll tighten everything on. Once this setup is on, once it's together, I can then connect this to the servo motor. And it will fit on there like this. And then when the servo motor moves, this will move with it. Now, to keep that on there, I will need something called the servo screw. Now, this servo screw does not need a hex head screwdriver, and it will not need an Allen key. These are not the same things. In order to do a screw that goes into this servo motor, we need a number 1 screwdriver. And it says it right here, number 1. And we'll put the screw into the servo motor and gently, don't over tighten the screw. Just screw it down. Doesn't matter that it's a little bit loose. Just screw it down until it's a little bit tight. Once it's tight, you're done. Don't over screw it. You over tighten it and you're going to strip the screw, and then the servo motor is pretty much a paperweight at that point. Next, we'll have to attach this motor, which has our attachment on it, to the robot. To do that, we'll need a couple brackets. We need one of our medium-sized brackets, and these are called channel brackets. And then we need a servo motor bracket. So the first thing I'm going to do is attach the servo motor bracket to our channel bracket. Now, what I want you guys to be aware of is that you have a decision here. Your decision is whether or not the attachment you have will have enough clearance once it's attached to the channel bracket to actually go up and down. Some of you will not have the clearance, and you'll need something spacing it out underneath. And so what I've got here is I've just got a round spacer. It's pretty easy. We'll put the spacer onto our channel bracket. And without the servo motor in the servo motor bracket, we'll put the servo motor bracket on top of the channel spacer. And then we put in two long screws, and we don't need any more than this, into the spacer, and it goes right through the channel bracket and comes through the other side. Then we'll need two small cap nuts to fit onto that. And again, I'm just going to tighten this manually. What's getting on there? So now that it's on there, we could take our hex head screwdriver and tighten them in. And now that bracket is connected with a spacer. And now we can put our servo motor into that servo bracket. To do that, we're going to need different types of screws. This entire time you've been using just socket head cap screws, but we're going to be using something called servo motor bracket screws. They have a rounded head on them, and they need a different type of Allen key to put them together, or hex head key to put them together. So it's pretty simple. You're just going to need a couple of these, and for today's demonstration, I'm only going to put two. but you'll probably need at least 3. So you get the servo screw in there, the servo bracket screw, I should say, in there, and then you'll need just a regular kept nut will work on the bottom, and just tighten it in. Move your bracket, move your attachment out of the way. Get another couple screws into the next 2 holes. And tighten those screws as well. Okay, now, once we have our servo motor attached to the servo bracket, this will complete our setup. So again, this piece represents your attachment. Whatever's coming off here is your attachment, but I'm not doing that whole thing. So it's just a matter of attaching it to the servo motor and then attaching the servo motor to the bracket. Once everything is attached, now what we can do is we can attach our bracket to our robot. And once that's done, it's pretty simple. We just need a couple screws to do that. And if you've set up your robot well enough, then basically this is just a couple screws to get your entire attachment, which is on a bracket, connected to your robot. Once that robot has the bracket attached, everything is pretty much set up. Now comes to the last step, which is extremely easy. It's a matter of just getting power from your motor, your servo motor, to the other systems. Now these servo motors are very, very, shoddy. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, but I tested this out before, so it did work. The motor did work, but it could just not work right now. But anyway, this is how to attach it. So what we want to do is make sure that our battery is connected to our robot. And when we add the servo motor wire into the receiver, we want to make sure that the yellow wire is facing on the inside of the receiver. So it should go yellow on the inside. Now that everything there is set up, I can turn on my system, turn on my controller, and one of the controllers should be able to move my motor up and down. And that's it. And that concludes the tutorial on how to attach your attachments to your robots. Good luck. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me.